Welcome back to another episode of HOM Entertainment. I'm Denisha McDowell.
And I'm Samantha Deal.
Today's episode is a very special one as we take a moment to honor and celebrate Bob Hoffman, the Public Relations Manager at Wharton Center, who is retiring after 25 years. Bob has played a key role in bringing Broadway to our community, helping connect audiences to world-class productions, and making every show feel unforgettable. We're so grateful for his collaboration with HOMTV over the years, and today we get the chance to reflect on his career, favorite memories, and what's next for him. Bob, welcome back one last time.
Yeah, my last time here. I'm sad. I've so enjoyed coming and talking to you and the viewers about everything that's happening at Wharton Center.
Yes, when we got the news, we were just like,
I was like,
why Bob? Like, no.
I don't know about you in it.
Yeah, great. Forever. But you hold a
Thank
special
you.
place in our hearts, so we want to dedicate this episode to
I
you.
want you to know that you hold a special place in my heart too, because you guys have always been so receptive to the things that are happening in Wharton Center. And sometimes, you get so tied down with all the issues that you have to report on. And when you think about entertainment, you don't necessarily have to report on it, but it is such a big thing in our community and it affects so many people. And I really am a strong advocate of good news. And I think that, we're good news.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
And we needed that. So with this episode, we're going to turn the tables on you this time, since other times we talk about Broadway shows and performing arts, but we wanted to reflect on your journey from the very beginning to now.
Yeah, thank you.
So we'll start with opening and reflections. So Bob, you've been such an important part of Wharton Center's connection to the community. Looking back, what has the role meant to you personally?
It's much bigger than I ever anticipated it being. I was recruited to Wharton Center from Channel 6 because I was the anchor reporter at Channel 6 and I was getting up in the morning as the morning anchor, and I had dinner one night with the executive director of Wharton Center at the time, Bill Wright. We were colleagues, we were friends, and I covered Wharton Center kind of like you two. I would cover Wharton Center a lot and we became friends. And so he said, he said, I'm going to hire my new publicist because the old one was leaving. And I said, oh, wow, who is it going to be? Because I thought, well, I'll be working with this person. And he starts describing the person. Well, he starts out like, you probably don't know him very well. And then he starts describing it. And I was like, that sounds like me. I'm like, Bill, are you trying to offer me a job? And he's like, yes, and you're going to take it. And I was like, at the time I was like, well, that's not at all what I'm thinking about. And thank you, I'm really blessed, but that's not what I'm thinking about. And, but then I went home and I was getting up at 2:00 in the morning to be at the station. And I had been doing it for 2 years. And I thought, am I going to want to do this forever? Like, am I going to want to get up, and the thing is, I could have left. I could have gone to a higher market, a different market. But I have to tell you, I didn't want to leave Mid-Michigan. I felt so connected to Mid-Michigan. I felt so connected to the people here. And I always felt so welcomed here and a part of it. And so when you're a journalist, oftentimes you have this view of like, you're going to go to the bigger market. And that was me at the beginning. But then I realized I don't want to go to a bigger market. I don't want to go anywhere else. I like it here. So I started thinking about that. And so I called Bill and I said, so let's talk. And so it was so different back then, 24 years ago, because I went into his office and I thought I was going to go for an interview. He just had me meet all the directors, the heads of, the departments. And it was like, they didn't even know. They were like, well, hello, hi, Bob. And he's like, yeah, sit down and they'll tell you about your job or what they do. And I thought, well, this is odd. They didn't even realize, like, it wasn't an official formal interview. And then the next thing I know, he's like, okay, when do you want to start? It was so different than what it is nowadays. Like, he didn't go through the proper university channel. It was just odd. Then I went through the university channels after that, like going there, but it was from the executive director where it was like, okay, you got to do this. So it was just the weirdest experience. But he was such a role model for me in my life. And I was scared of him. I was scared of him because he knew so many people in the business and he knew Broadway, and I didn't want to let him down. And I went into the job thinking, I don't know anything. Like, there was the first day they gave me a desk and they said, here's your desk, here's your computer. Like, there was no training manual, there was nothing. So I was like, well, what do I do? Like, I didn't say that because I was a little nervous about saying that. So I said, thanks. And one of the things I learned in broadcasting, and I know you guys probably know this too, is you fake it till you make it. You just do it. You just figure it out. And so I thought, okay, well, I'm on the other side. What do I want when a reporter works with me? What do I want? What do I need? How do I need the information? And so I just started calling my colleagues in the business and saying, I'm here. How can I help you? What do you want from Wharton Center? What can we do to make it easy for you? And that has really been my MO throughout the 24 years is, how do I make it easy for you? How do I make your job easier so you can cover us?
It was like destined for you to happen.
Yeah. Well, so this is so crazy, Denisha. I went to Psychic when I was at Channel 6, and she told me that I was going to be in entertainment. And I said, and I'm friends with her now. I've known her for 25 years. I've kept in touch with her. And I said, Lynn, that's not happening. Like, that was not what I was supposed to do, right? In my mind, I was going to do broadcasting. And she's like, I see an entertainment. And so it worked out. I was in entertainment. Wow. And so for 25 years, or 24 and a change, I was in entertainment.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Look at that, 25 years later. Wow.
Can we have her number?
Yeah. She's great. She's local. Lynn Crandall. She's amazing.
And that's nice that you still stay connected to her all these years, too.
You know what, Denisha? She has been so right in my life for so many different things. And, if you believe in it, fine. If you don't, that's cool, too. But for me, it really is nice to have somebody that I can say, okay, this is what I'm toying with. What's going on? So, I believe in it. So
yes. The next question, can you share how you first got started at Wharton Center and what drew you to public relations and the performing arts? I know you touched on it a little bit, but is there any further details that you wanted to tell us?
I just started thinking about when I got the job and started thinking about what it is that would make a good publicist. And so I realized the people that I worked with that were good publicists. And so I do media training now, actually, with my company, Thought Partner Services. And we talk about what you need to do to make sure that you're covered, what you need to do to make sure that you're giving the people that you work with the information that they need and asking the questions. And the first thing that I always say, and I learned right off, is you don't give them a book of information. You just make it a one-pager, hit the topics that you want to cover, and then if they want more, they can get more. But give them good images, give them good B-roll, give them the story, and make their job easier. I think that's a good publicist, is when you can work with somebody and it's really easy to cover you. Because if you think about it, if you want publicity on something and they have to work, everyone's busy. Like, we're all so busy. Whatever job you're in, you're busy, busy, busy. So how do you make it easier for them? So that's some of the things that I've learned along the way. And just relationship building is the most important thing. I mean, just because and I've had this happen. When I started working, I would work with the smallest independent papers that maybe 100 or so people would work with. And I remember one of my supervisors at one time said, "Oh, don't worry about them." And I said, "No, I'm worrying about them. They have 100 people that are in a rural community and they need to know about us. They are the people that we need to reach out to." And the editor of that paper went on to a larger paper. So you never know who you're going to meet along the way. And my MO in my life is always treat everyone the same, no matter where they are. If it's the janitor or the CEO, a homeless person or the wealthiest person you always have to treat everyone the same, because we're all in this together. We're all human. We all share the air. Mm-hmm. So treat everyone equally and make them feel like they're the most important people. And I think relationships are everything. So that's something that I really embraced and make sure it happens as I go forward.
I love
in
that.
PR.
Yeah, especially when it comes back to relationships, it makes it the world a better place, number one. And then going back to training, especially when it comes to like big pamphlets of like training and stuff like that, information overload is very real. So shout out to you.
Nobody has time for that.
Make it as simple as possible and
Yeah.
just learning and elevate as you go.
And you know, my former interns, the students that I used to have that came with me, or I would hire to work with me, and I would bring them here, right? Like I remember some of the students, and I'm still in touch with them, and I'm so proud of them. And I always told them that someday they may hire me, you know? So those students, whenever they started with me, I would say, here's the way I do it. If you think of a better way, or if you have any suggestions or different, let me know. Because I don't pretend that I am the expert on anything. This works for me, but maybe you have something different that you would like. And it's worked because, you know, younger people, and I don't mean to say I'm old, but they're more computer literate than I am. So they were able to show me some programs that really made my life easier. But I wouldn't know that if they didn't have that ability. And I opened up to them, because when you open up to a person and you make them feel valued, they're going to value you, and your company's going to do much better overall.
Absolutely.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So now we're going to talk about some memorable moments. Are there any behind the scenes stories that stand out to you from your time at Wharton? Maybe any chaos that led up to a show?
Yeah, I'm not going to name names,
Okay.
but there was once a famous opera singer that I had to pick up from the airport, and she was known as a diva, and I picked her up, and they gave me a picture of her, but it was a picture of her going out on stage, right? Like, so she's beautiful. She's got her hair put together, and at that time, back in the day, I would go pick them up at the airport. Now they have cars or something, and so I picked her up, and she came off the plane in sweats, and her hair wasn't done, no makeup. I didn't know it was her. Like, I kept looking, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's not on the plane. She gets off the plane. She was lovely. She was sweet. She was kind. She wasn't a diva at all. And it just made me think, like, you know, our interaction with somebody, like if we label them, all of a sudden they are that. And it sort of was one of those big lessons of like, okay, you know what? Don't label people, because maybe she was a diva that day when they had that experience with her. Or maybe she doesn't let people push her around, but she was a lovely person. So that kind of came because I was really nervous, right? Like, I'm like, oh gosh. The other stories that hang out, that I hung out with Tom Wopat, and he was great, and he took me, we went out to lunch and had a great time, and some of the celebrities that have come through that were genuinely interested in me. Tony Bennett was one that I will never forget. Tony Bennett was in his dressing room at Wharton Center, and for some reason, and I don't know what it was, but I had to go give him something. So I went in, I knocked on the door, and I said, Mr. Bennett, and he's like, oh, hi, what's your name? And I told him my name, and he said, come in, and I was like, okay, well, I just wanted to give you this. No, come in, sit down, sit down. So I sat down in his dressing room, and he's like, so tell me about you. What do you do here? And I told him, and he was so interested in me. Here I am in Mr. Tony Bennett's dressing room, backstage Wharton Center, and he was interested in me. And, you know, I was like, well, so, you know, and I'd ask him, he's like, oh, I don't want to talk about me. You know all about me. Let's find out about you. He was just this amazing, great gentleman that was just lovely and just an incredible being. And most of the people that come into at Wharton Center are just really average citizens that happen to have a lot of fame, but they're all kind, they're all lovely, and you know, some are more quiet than others, but you have to think about when you're on the road for so many years and you're doing so many different things, it's tough, you're tired, you know, so
Constantly memorizing lines and everything.
I can't imagine the life, and doing it every city that you go to, doing a bunch of press, you know, and I'd pick them up sometimes at 6:30 in the morning and take them around. Back in the old days, we used to pick them up and take them around to all the media stations and be there for the morning shows, right? So sometimes I remember picking up the Harlem Globetrotters at like 5:30 in the morning. and taking them around. So
Whoa.
things have changed now. COVID really changed things and how things are done. Zooms are more, but back in the old days, we did a bunch of stuff. Well, and if you think about it, and I'm rambling on, I'm sorry, but
No,
you
you're
make me
fine.
think
This
about
is your
memories.
This is your show.
You know how now everything's electronic press kits. When I started, B-roll, which is like if you're watching a show, B-roll is like the show, or the video that plays while the anchor's talking. We used to we would get that in, and then I'd have to hand deliver it to the TV stations. Sometimes I'd only get one copy, so I'd have to go to a TV station and say, would you mind copying it for me? Or give me another copy so I could take to the other. So you'd spend a day doing that, you know? So when I first started, literally the internet was just kind of really starting, like, you know? So it's changed. Oh my gosh, it's changed so much since I've
Seeing the evolution of it, just
it's
more
just,
advanced.
and it just changes all the time, and it's different. But PR changes, right? Everything in PR changes. But the one thing that doesn't change, and I'll argue that it will never change, is relationships. Relationships, you always have to treat people with respect, and you always, be a professional and work with professionals. So I don't think that'll ever change.
Couldn't agree more.
All right, we're going to turn it around, and we're going to make this about us.
Okay, yeah.
Do you have a favorite memory of working with the Home TV team over the years? Maybe back when Deborah Guthrie was here, Brandy Yates?
Yeah, you know what? My whole experience with Home TV has been nothing but positive. And I remember, so many of the actors and actresses from shows would come in, and they will often call us and tell us about their experiences with people. And every single one of them, I've never, in all the years I've worked with Home TV, have gotten a bad remark or that journalist seemed off to me, or they weren't researched. They didn't know what they were talking about. Everything has always been so good and so professional. And I've loved always coming into the studio. I've really loved coming into the studio because it gets me out of the office and the bloopers, right? Like some of the times we'd have bloopers and we'd laugh and it was funny. And I think I even came to one of your blooper parties that you had because I was probably a big part of it. No, I just loved Home TV. And here's the thing about Home TV that I love, and I've shared this with you before. I'll be out in the community and people will say, oh, I've seen you on TV. And immediately I'll think, 6 or 10, right? The big powerhouses in town. And I'll be like, which station? And they're like, oh, Home TV. I saw you on Home TV. And I love that because they watch, they watch on Home TV and it airs a couple times. So a couple of people have said, well, I have a hard time sleeping. And
Haven't already yet for the night owls.
That's literally the best amazing advertisement, right? So yeah, I had lots of great memories of coming here. And then you guys coming to Wharton Center too, and being part of our press, drops. And I used to bring people here too, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was before you were here.
Yeah, I used to bring actors here.
Oh, wow.
And that was part of when we did that was part of the whole tour. So that was fun.
Yes.
But yeah, you guys have been amazing. And as I said when I got in here, I drive by this building all the time because I live in East Lansing. So I drive by this building and I have good memories here, good energy here.
Great.
Awesome.
Now moving on to impact and legacy. Home TV and Wharton Center have collaborated on so many productions and shows. What has it meant to you to share that with the public?
I get a little emotional because I'm so proud of Wharton Center. I'm so proud that we live in a community that supports the arts. The arts are so important. They change lives. I love going into a show at the beginning and you see people and you hear people and they're like, I don't know, I just got these tickets from my wife. And then you watch them when they leave and there's something different about them, or there are discussions about them. Or even if they say, I absolutely hated that performance, that was horrible, and then they talk about it. It's okay because it gets them talking. Theater creates dialogue, and we need more dialogue. We need more people to talk to each other and be in each other's hemisphere and space and talking and sharing. And theater, there's something magical about it that I don't think you can even put into words or context, because there's just a magical thing that happens when people get together and watch other people perform something that is not real, but in that moment it is real.
Absolutely.
So I love the power of the arts, and I'm a huge advocate of Wharton Center, and literally all the theaters in town. I mean, I travel a lot, and I get to travel overseas a lot, and it's just, we're so fortunate here. We're so fortunate to live in America, and even with everything that's going on and the divide, there's so many things that bring us together too, and I think we should celebrate that, and theater is one of them. Because when you go to a theater, it doesn't matter the color of your skin, or what political party you go to, or where you came from, or where you go to church. You just are there to enjoy something that we're all enjoying together, and that hour or 2 hours of just people being together can change lives.
It's a healthy escape too.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's
like you said, going back to how things are in the world, how divided we are,
Yeah.
coming together and seeing these amazing shows and performing arts, it gives like a great feeling, a positive feeling. It keeps you
Yeah.
talking, and again, going back to the communication aspect, talking to each other, talking about it, and how it just really changed you, and just from those 2 hours from going in to coming out after seeing it. So.
Absolutely, 100%. And Home TV has been part of that. Like, you guys deserve to be applauded and commended, because you help share our message to the viewers of Meridian Township, who are our supporters, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a cyclical, thing that goes around. What goes around comes around.
Yes.
It really is true.
Yeah. So next, we're going to talk about your farewell in the future.
Yeah.
As you step into retirement, what are you most looking forward to?
I'm really looking forward to, throughout the whole 24 years at Wharton Center, in the back of my mind, since I was 20 years old, I wanted to be a motivational speaker. I wanted to help people. And I helped people as a public relations manager discover theater and learn about theater. But really, I want to help people in other ways. And so for me, I just started a company called Thought Partner Services, which is leadership development. It's based on emotional intelligence, communication, high-level communication. And I really want to try to bring people together and to celebrate our uniqueness and our differences, and teach customer service. I have a customer service training that's based on, empathy and emotional intelligence, which is a little different than any other customer service training. But it's a leadership training too, because I really believe in powerful leaders. And I think so often that we work in situations where there's a person who's been elevated into a leadership role, but nobody's taught them how to be a leader. And so I think that does something to the people that are under them, and it does something to them internally too, because I think they feel like, who am I to be in this position? But here I am. Mm-hmm. And we don't teach leadership enough. So I want to talk about leadership. I want to talk about making organizations better and more whole. And I think, our work is our lives. Mm-hmm. We spend the majority of our time there. So I think it would behoove everyone to enjoy what you do and enjoy the time that you spend, not just do it for a paycheck. Because at the end of the day, when you're 95 in a retirement home and, you're evaluating your life, do you want to say, I did that for so many years just for a paycheck? Mm-hmm. Life's more than that.
Right. You want to look at your job as something where it doesn't feel like a job too.
Right.
So that's the best feeling.
I want to help people discover that and how to get there.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
Yeah. Is there any advice you'd like to leave for the next person stepping into your role?
Yeah. I brought my colleagues around to introduce them to everyone. I said, keep the relationships going. Talk to them. Send them emails. Just check in. Don't call them only when you need them. Touch base with them and make a relationship out of it, and say, happy holidays, or hey, it's your birthday. Keep track of that, and just make a relationship with people and keep that alive. And also not being scared to ask questions. And I've asked this from you guys before, of like, hey, I've got this show. Are you able to do something or not? and you're honest. You can say, yeah, we totally have time, or I'm sorry, we can't do this one. Perfect, great. But at least I have that relationship with you, or I can ask you, and then I know that I can use my resources elsewhere, or do my, go elsewhere. But I have a relationship with you that I can ask that question. So the other thing that you have to be highly organized, because you're working with so many media outlets, so many different personalities, everyone needs something different. So I say just be really hyper organized and be on top of things and fake it till you make it. Never let anyone know that you don't know what the heck you're doing. Just figure it out.
All right, I like that.
Make it work. Well, this concludes our interview. We did not want it to end.
Yay! I mean, it's not like that. No, but oh my gosh, I've so enjoyed it. Wow, this is fun. I didn't realize. I knew you said you wanted to come in and talk to me and about Wharton Center, but it's been such a pleasure. I'm not going away. I'm in town. Hopefully, we can work together.
Yes.
Maybe you can take one of my leadership classes that I'm doing.
Absolutely.
And, so thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you to the viewers too who have tuned in. And I just want to say, I want to leave you with, continue to support Wharton Center and continue to support the amazing community, because we're so fortunate. I think we have a great community.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your dedicated time, your effort, your love too, and connecting us all here. And thank you for your time here in HOM Entertainment. And we wish you the very best. And we appreciate you. It's not a goodbye, because we'll still stay connected. But we want to give a huge thank you to everything that you've done for us here.
Thank you guys. Appreciate you both. Appreciate you both.
Yes. Now, before we end it, I usually say thank you for watching this episode of HOM Entertainment. So I would love to give it and pass it on to you to say it.
Oh, okay. Where do I go? Where do I look?
All
Here?
right,
You can
let's go,
look.
Kim. Let's go.
Yep, this camera right here.
Wide shot.
So what do I
Wide shot.
say?
You're going to say thank you for watching this episode of HOM Entertainment.
All right.
Give you the honors.
All right. 3, 2, 1. And thank you for watching this episode of HOM Entertainment.